Welcome to the GSMC Financial News Podcast, the show that delves into the ups and downs of the stock market, changes in the economy, and news from the worlds of real estate and technology. From breaking news on the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, or the overseas market, to updates on the bond market, if there's money to be made, we've got you covered.
Hello. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Financial News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Virginia Lucci, coming at you live from my house in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm excited about today's show. We have a lot to cover. So first, I'm going to talk a little bit about the economy. Then we're going to take a deep dive into the Amazon. Next, we're going to cover some more of the money laundering scandal that's going on with the nation's top banks. And finally, I'm going to give you my top 10 fitness apps because I don't know about you, but I need to get back in shape. As always, I'm going to give you my normal disclaimer. I'm not providing legal or financial advice. The show is for entertainment purposes only, so don't come at me. The economy is changing by the second. So as always, if you have questions, visit an attorney or financial professional for advice that's tailored to your needs. Now let's get to it. Stocks fell on Thursday as a rebound in tech shares lost steam while traders weighed the latest batch of economic data. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dipped 40 points, or 0.2%. At its session low, the Dow was down 226 points. The 30-stock Dow was also up more than 300 points earlier in the day. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ Composite traded lower by 0.1% each. Facebook shares were down 0.4% after trading higher early in the day. Netflix was marginally lower. Apple traded 0.7% high, but was well off its season high. Investors continue to fear the tale of the two economies. The number of first-time filers for unemployment benefits were slightly higher than expected last week as the labor market continues its sluggish recovery from the coronavirus pandemic. The Labor Department reported Thursday that initial jobless claims for the week ending September 19th came in at 870,000, adjusted for seasonal fluctuation. Economists polled by Dow Jones expect first-time claims at 850,000, down slightly from the previous week at 860,000. Without the adjustment, about 825,000 people filed last week, up from previous week's 796,000. More than 6 million people a week filed during the peak of the layoffs in the spring when Congress approved a $600 a week in supplemental benefits. The supplemental benefits expired this summer. Bottom line, we have a mix of people going back to work because they're now greater incentivized to do so without the extra $600 per week, and those that are still challenged in finding a job that matches their skills in this unfortunate pandemic, according to Peter Bukovar, Chief Investment Officer at Bleakley Advisory Group. New York and Georgia saw the biggest week-over-week increases in initial claims, the department said. Claims in New York jumped by more than 9,000 last week, and first-time filers in Georgia rose by more than 6,000. As I've said before, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has urged Congress and the administration that more aid is needed. Powell appeared Thursday before the Senate Banking Committee alongside Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, a quarterly exercise to report to Congress on the CARES Act. The law made $2 trillion available to help speed a U.S. recovery. And as it turns out, there are still hundreds of billions of dollars in unused funds from the $2.3 trillion coronavirus aid package. About $200 billion in money allocated to the Treasury to backstop U.S. central bank loans remains uncommitted, Powell and Mnuchin said in a hearing before the Senate Banking Committee. So Mnuchin also pointed out that the $130 billion left in the now expired Paycheck Protection Program to help small business are funds that he said would be his first priority to get approval from Congress to tap and send to needy firms. Well, that's nice. That's nice. In addition, Powell, in response to a question, said most of the $75 billion allocated to the Fed's largely untapped Main Street lending program remains unused. The Main Street program has come in for criticism for failing to deploy enough credit to small and mid-sized companies. But there's money that's still on the table. So what's going on here? Eric Rosengren, president of the Boston Fed, which administers the facility, said Wednesday that as of September 21st, Main Street had purchased $2 billion worth of loans and was examining another $2.4 billion made by banks under the program. The focus on reallocating those sums has emerged as Congress has remained deadlocked over providing new fiscal relief that Powell said could make the difference between the continued recovery and a much slower economic slog. Most households have already spent their stimulus checks, probably a while ago, and unemployment insurance is tapping out. Chairman Powell warns that the risk is that they will ultimately go through all of their money and have to cut back on spending and maybe lose their homes or their lease. Well, I think that's already happening. I mean, not to be glib about it, but this isn't something that we're going to see in the future. This is what's happening in the world right now. Small businesses are still in limbo. Chairman Powell said an expansion of the Paycheck Protection Program and something more for Americans who have lost their jobs because of the coronavirus pandemic would actually have the greatest economic impact. Powell also estimated that Main Street lending program could have $10 billion to $30 billion in loans outstanding by the end of the year. The money is there. I don't understand why we're not using it. There's bipartisan support for additional loans to small businesses through the Paycheck Protection Program that's targeted to the hardest hit businesses, according to Mnuchin. President Donald Trump has signaled an interest in a $1.5 trillion proposal from a bipartisan group of House lawmakers, though Republican senators have warned that some in their caucus couldn't back something so large. A scaled-down Republican bill offering about $650 billion in aid was blocked by the Democrats. With formal talks having stopped in early August, the Democratic congressional leaders are still demanding a comprehensive $2.2 trillion bill. Prospects for another round of economic support have also dimmed this week, and spiraling partisan tension over the battle to replace Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, with just weeks remaining before the U.S. election, significantly redesigned, won't come close to the $600 billion capacity initially envisioned. While all of this is happening, the Census Bureau reported that new home sales in the U.S. totaled just over 1 million in August. Economists polled by Dow Jones expected a gain of 898,000. The rate is the highest since 2006 and marked 4 months of increases. Economists surveyed by Bloomberg had expected the rate to drop last month to 890,000 units. The new home's median price fell from a year ago period to $312,800 when the average sale price was $369,100. The Thursday report also revealed a growing strain in housing supply. The seasonably adjusted estimate of new homes for sale fell to 282,100,000 from 291,100,000. The latest reading represented a supply of 3.3 months at the housing market's current rate of sales, the shortest period in data going back to 1963. The housing market has been one of the few corners of the economy enjoying a V-shaped rebound through the coronavirus pandemic. The Federal Reserve's decision in March to push interest rates close to zero lowered mortgage rates and spurred a pickup in home sales. And I mean, that's absolutely true. I see proof of that every day. And the fact that the interest rates are so low now is really a good time to buy if you have the money. The central bank's subsequent messaging that rates would stay low for years added fuel to the market's resurgence. But some fear that the sharp rally is on its last legs because of the weak labor market. Again, if you can't afford your rent, you're not going to go out and buy a house. Other indicators have pointed to lasting demand in the sector. Homebuilder optimism reached an all-time high in September, according to the National Association of Home Builders and Wells Fargo Housing Market Index. Sales of existing homes actually have trended in line with new unit purchases throughout the summer. But again, property sale is only booming in the private sector. As I've said before, more and more businesses are working from home. The rise in Zoom, Slack, and Amazon are all proof. Corporate retail giant Brookfield Property Partners will lay off 20% of its 2,000 employees in its retail arm, which owns malls and other shopping centers that include Tyson's Galleria in Virginia and the Grand Canal Shops at the Venetian Resort in Las Vegas. Although the market is safe today, Goldman Sachs halved its outlook for the fourth quarter economic growth after changing its base case to include a lack of new stimulus until 2021. As a result, the famous hedge fund lowered their fourth quarter gross domestic product forecast to 3% from 6% on a quarter-over-quarter basis after incorporating the lack of near-term relief package into their base case. The bank expects the withdrawal of stimulus programs to pull households' disposable incomes back to pre-pandemic levels and weigh on consumer spending through the end of 2020. Continued job growth will lift private income, but gains will be overshadowed by the drop in stimulus support, the team said in a note to clients. The updated forecast arrived before the weekly jobless claims were published on Thursday and showed the continuing pain in the labor market. Like Chairman Powell, Goldman expected Congress to pass at least a $1 trillion stimulus package by the end of this month and would include another expansion of unemployment benefits and additional funds for the Paycheck Protection Program. And as we know, that has not happened. I mean, technically, we have about another week to go in the month, but I don't see this happening. Some of the economic growth set to be lost in the fourth quarter will bleed into the new year, according to the team. Goldman raised its GDP forecast for the second quarter of 2021 to 7% from 6% on a quarter-after-quarter basis. Estimates for the third and fourth quarters of 2021 were lifted to 4.5% and 3.5%, respectively. We are more confident that widespread distribution of a vaccine to fill the population will be achieved by the second quarter rather than the first quarter of next year, the team wrote, citing a report from the Washington Post revealing stricter regulatory standards for approving the vaccine, which may or may not be okayed by the Trump administration. Over other Wall Street gains recently incorporated a lack of new stimulus growth into their forecasts. So we've got Bank of America, who lowered its fourth quarter growth estimate to 3% from 5% in early September, calling stalled negotiations a speed bump for the U.S. recovery. At this point, I think the tale of two economies will be over by the fourth quarter as we approach a fiscal cliff once again. Partisanship is at an all-time high, so cooperation is lacking. House Democrats are making a last-ditch effort to pass a $2.4 trillion relief package. Voting may occur as early as next week. The GOP put together a scaled-back bill after a measure costing about $1 trillion failed to lead a breakthrough. So is that too little, too late? I'm going to leave you with that thought as I take a quick commercial break. When I come back, we're going to take a deep dive into Amazon. And stick around for the end of the show where I will give you my top 10 fitness apps because the quarantine has really taken effect on me. So stick around and I'll see you on the other side.
Are you a business owner? Someone interested in the latest news that might affect your business? Then check out the GSMC Business News Podcast, a show dedicated to keeping you up to date on all things concerning business, technology, and the stock market. Get a head start on the day as we keep you updated on the latest goings-on Wall Street, money, jobs, and technology. The GSMC Business News Podcast has you covered.
Welcome back. In our last segment, we looked at the word on the street and how the economy is really shaping up. In this segment, we are going to take a deep dive in the Amazon. And this Amazon has been one of the biggest success stories of the pandemic. And it had a really big week this week. First was its failed foray into fitness with Echelon. Was it a partnership? I don't know. On Tuesday, the fitness startup Echelon said in a press release that it had built a Prime-based stationary bike, retailing for $499. Echelon claimed they partnered with Amazon's first ever connected fitness product, a rival to Peloton. And again, Peloton, I'm open to a partnership. Since then, Amazon is distancing itself. Echelon's press release has now been deleted, and Amazon said the bike is, quote, not an Amazon product or related to Amazon Prime. Ouch. They go on to say Echelon does not have a formal partnership with Amazon. We are working with Echelon to clarify this in its communication, stop the sale of the product, and change the product branding, an Amazon spokesman said in a statement. The bike's product page is still on the Amazon website, but it can't be ordered. So Echelon said that it is working to rebrand the product to get it back up for sale as soon as possible. Shares of Peloton actually sold lower on Tuesday after the initial announcement by Echelon, although they later rebounded. Amazon also sells similarly priced or cheaper stationary bikes, but using the Prime branding suggested it wanted to make its mark into the booming at-home fitness category. Prime is the company's popular subscription service and commonly uses its name on products, and that's why Amazon wanted Echelon to change the branding. Amazon isn't ready to go up against Peloton yet, for some reason that I don't understand. Echelon told CNN Business that it built the product to sell on Amazon, and it has been in communication with Amazon since the product's inception. It will continue making the bike, which is sold out right now, and it will once again after it gets the branding sorted out. Other than a few cosmetic changes, the $500 bike is almost identical to Echelon's $500 bike at Walmart.com, which has been available at Walmart.com since March and hasn't had any noticeable impact to Peloton's growth. And this is according to KeyBank Capital Markets analyst Edward Nurma in a note to investors, as per Bloomberg. So Wednesday, Echelon rallied back and said, quote, we have a great relationship with Amazon. So when this happened in January, we went with Amazon at the Consumer Electronics Show. Amazon was excited to get into our entire line of Echelon connected products up on Amazon. We actually created a great program where they're actually making it and bringing it in. One of the things they asked for is a $500 price point. So we worked with a $500 bike. We agreed on calling it Prime. The buying department agreed on calling it Prime. We have emails and correspondence. Everybody was on board in the buying department. Even the purchase orders came in. It was Amazon Prime packaging. Everything said Prime on it. It was the Echelon Prime bike. Well, the product had been sold out on Echelon's website for about a month, and press came out about it this week, and we got a call from the buying department that said, great news. We sold out of the bike within hours. But the internal team with Amazon does not want us to go on and use the Prime name on the bike, which was a complete shock to us. I guess now the bike is sold out, and we're looking on a new brand for the bike. Look, okay, I'll work with Echelon too. If you want to sponsor the pod, I welcome it. I will even call it the bike formerly known as the Prime bike. This is just weird. I honestly don't know why Amazon is trying so hard to distance itself from Echelon with Apple Fitness Plus just around the corner. You know, Peloton users not only purchase their eponymous bike, but they'll continue to use it, unlike the rowing machine that sits in the corner of my office. It gets used. Peloton owners average 24.7 monthly workouts versus just 12 in the same period last year. Subscription-based members worked out 76.8 million times in the fourth quarter, which is up from 17.8 million in the same 2019 period. Rival connected fitness firm Tonal sells a roughly $3,000 wall-mounted system that simulates weights and uses artificial intelligence to guide users through training regimens. And it looks so cool. The company recently raised $120 million in a second round of venture capital funding. This new capital will allow us to accelerate our marketing initiatives while scaling our supply chain so that we can change even more people's lives through the power of strength training, according to Tonal CEO Ali Orde. We'll also be rolling out new software features and a wider breadth of workout categories that we are excited to share in the coming months. Such an interest in the sector comes as working out in person at the gym has seen consumer enthusiasm plummet to all-time lows due to COVID-19. The Gold's Gym here in Montgomery closed completely. New York Sports Club, 24 Hour Fitness have also filed for Chapter 11. Consumers seem mostly uninterested in rushing back to gyms, including me. So despite the embarrassing moment and Amazon's 14% decline from recent all-time highs, a couple of under-the-radar stories from earlier this month are much more consequential for the e-commerce's giant, exciting potential growth. The first is Amazon Fresh. In late August, Amazon announced the opening of its first incarnation of its new grocery store model, Amazon Fresh in Woodland Hills, California. It takes a lot of what the company's learned from Whole Foods, which Amazon bought in 2017, and combines it with some homegrown tech, creating a grocery store of the future. The grocery business is one of the largest markets Amazon has gone after, but really hasn't disrupted in a way it has other tech and retail segments. Amazon Fresh could be the model that cracks the code. Given that the U.S. grocery industry does about $700 billion in sales annually, any type of disruption could actually be a meaningful contributor to the already massive Amazon. The problem is that although people visit grocery stores regularly, it's highly competitive and low margin. So it's hard for Amazon to really undercut established large-scale leaders and still make money. Plus, people still like going to a physical store to pick out their own goods. I mean, I don't really trust somebody else to pick out my produce and my meats, but, as far as canned goods, ships can knock themselves out and get me dry goods all day long. However, thanks to both cutting-edge technology and some mutual synergies with Amazon's e-commerce business, Amazon Fresh may be able to do this. On the technology front, the store will feature a cashierless checkout option. So based on Amazon's proprietary technology used in its handful of Amazon Go convenience stores and one Amazon Go grocery store near its headquarters in Seattle. So this is how it works. You link your Amazon account to the Dash Cart through your phone app. The Dash Cart then uses computer vision systems and sensor fusion to identify items you put in your cart. When you exit the store, sensors identify your cart and your Amazon account is charged. The potential for lower labor costs as well as higher thought put Amazon Fresh versus the industry could be a powerful combination. So if this means I don't have to wait on a long socially distanced line to check out, I'm great. Let's do it. Another announcement was the recent introduction of Amazon luxury online stores, with luxury brand Oscar de la Renta opening an Amazon luxury store for its fall and winter collections. So this is a huge deal because luxury brands have traditionally shunned Amazon as a distributor due to its traditional reputation as a low-cost mass market site. However, given the closing of physical stores due to the pandemic, combined with Amazon's growing leadership in technology and convenience, such as one-day delivery, more and more retail traffic is flocking to Amazon's platform. It looks as if Amazon might have reached a tipping point that attracts a new type of retail vendor to its e-commerce platform. Amazon is still a company that constantly reinvents itself and takes aim at huge markets. Still, based on Amazon's roughly 40% share of U.S. e-commerce sales, and e-commerce only making up about 16% of retail sales in 2019, that still leaves Amazon with over 90% of the retail market to tackle, despite its already massive size. So while connected fitness would be a nice service to have, tapping into the unpenetrated luxury good markets and rolling out a disruptive grocery store model are bigger deals. Thursday, Amazon returned to more familiar territory, announcing two new Fire TV products during its big online hardware event. Amazon's Fire TV gadgets compete directly with Roku and Apple TV, offering people access to popular apps such as Disney+, Netflix, Hulu, and more. The new Fire TV Stick and Fire TV Stick Lite will be the first of Amazon's streaming gadgets to offer a redesigned home screen. The new features announced on Thursday will be available later this year, starting with these devices, but it will not be on them when they begin shipping next week. The changes will also come to existing Fire TV devices beginning in the first quarter of 2020. And I think that we already have the new screen ironically, on our Apple Plus and not on our Amazon Fire, because the new software supports up to 6 user profiles. So you can log in and see movie profiles and shows that are specifically recommended for you. I don't know if it's as intuitive as Netflix, but it's pretty good. And it also gives you the option to create profiles for children that will show only kid-friendly content that you've approved. So previously, you'd have to actually go inside the app and switch profiles. The latest software provides a new option to see your Ring or Alexa-ready video cameras on your TV through picture-in-picture, kind of like seeing a small window on your screen while you're watching TV or movies. And, I think this is a no-brainer, and I'm honestly surprised that this hasn't happened before, but nevertheless, it's coming out in this next wave of updates. Finally, Amazon is expanding its Alexa voice assistant on Fire TV. There are billions of requests to Alexa, and that has seen an 80% growth in requests on Fire TV over the last year. It's a good indication people like Alexa and are using it more, and to manage shopping, routines, recipes, whatever. And I'm sorry if I've set off your device through this story, but it's good that we're seeing an improvement in her skills. Separately from the Fire Sticks, though still part of the new software that will roll out on to other Amazon Fire TV gadgets during the first quarter of 2021, is a new video chat support. People who own the second generation Fire TV Cube will soon be able to add a Logitech webcam for video through Fire TV. It'll support Alexa video calls and later Zoom. It won't work on the Fire TV Stick since it requires a USB port that's only found on the Fire TV Cube. I remember back in the early days of the internet, there's a thing called web TV. And in 1998, you could view the web on your tube TV. It really never caught on because, well, internet in the 90s wasn't that great. But I really feel like this is going to fare a lot better with the integration with Alexa and your TV. It's going to be great. I can see my parents using it. And I think it's going to be good. Pre-orders for the Fire TV Stick and the Fire TV Stick Lite begin on Thursday, and they'll begin arriving to customers on September 30th. And other news, before I end the segment, Amazon Prime Day is going to happen this year, supposedly. It's likely going to be on October 13th, according to a report on Tuesday by CNET, which cited 4 people with knowledge of Amazon's plans. An Amazon spokesperson declined to confirm the date, saying only, "Stay tuned for more details on Prime Day." Customers can also say, "Alexa, keep me posted on Prime Day." But there is an intriguing clue to corroborate the report. Amazon has reportedly instituted a vacation blackout from October 13th through October 20th, a move the company has made in previous years to correspond with its annual member shopping event. I am going to take a quick break to work on my Amazon wish list while you listen to a commercial break. When I come back, we'll go deeper in a story I brought to you on my last podcast, money laundering. And stay tuned for the end of the show when I will give you the top 10 best fitness apps. So,
tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
welcome back. In our last episode, we talked about the FinCEN files, a BuzzFeed news report about dirty money flowing through the U.S. banks. And I felt like I didn't really get into it as deep as I wanted to. So I want to revisit it today and give you a little bit more detailed information. A huge trove of secret government documents reveals for the first time how the giants of Western banking move trillions of dollars in suspicious transactions, enriching themselves and their shareholders while facilitating the work of terrorists, kleptocrats, and drug kingpins. And the U.S. government, despite its vast powers, does nothing to stop it. Today, the FinCEN files, thousands of suspicious activity reports, and other U.S. government documents offer an unprecedented view of global financial corruption, the banks enabling it, and the government agencies that watch it as it flourishes. BuzzFeed News has shared these reports with the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists and more than 100 news organizations in 88 countries. These documents, compiled by banks, shared with the government, but kept from the public view, expose the hollowness of banking safeguards and the ease with which criminals have exploited them. Profits from deadly drug wars, fortunes embezzled from developing countries, and hard-earned savings stolen in a Ponzi scheme were all allowed to flow in and out of these financial institutions, despite warnings from its own bank's employees. Money laundering is the illegal process of making large amounts of money generated by a criminal activity like drug trafficking or terrorist funding appear to have come from a legitimate source. The money from the criminal activity is considered dirty, and the process launders it to make it clean. Laundromats are traditionally a cash-only business. At least they were. I don't know. I haven't been in a laundromat for a while. But so you could take money and you'd get coins out of it. And the coins could go to the bank. It was a great place to clean your money. So that's a little tidbit there. Money laundering is a serious financial crime that is employed by white-collar and street-level criminals alike. Most financial companies have anti-money laundering policies in place to detect and prevent this activity. The company I work for, a Fortune 100 mutual company, requires agents to complete hours of AML training annually so we can spot it. The process of money laundering typically involves 3 steps: placement, layering, and integration. Placement puts the dirty money into the legitimate financial system. Layering conceals the source of the money through a series of transactions and bookkeeping tricks. And the final step is integration. The now laundered money is withdrawn from the legitimate account to be used for whatever purpose the criminals have in mind for it. There are many ways to launder money, from the simple to very complex. One of the most common techniques is to use a legitimate cash-based business owned by a criminal organization. For example, if the organization owns a restaurant, it might inflate the daily cash receipts to funnel illegal cash through the restaurant and into the restaurant's bank account. After that, the funds can be withdrawn as needed. These types of businesses are often referred to as fronts. In one common form of money laundering called smurfing, also known as structuring, the criminal breaks up large chunks of cash into multiple small deposits, often spreading them over many different accounts to avoid detection. Money laundering can also be accomplished through the use of currency exchanges, wire transfers, and mules, cash smugglers who sneak large amounts of cash across borders and then deposit them in foreign accounts where money laundering enforcement is often less strict. Other money laundering methods include investing in commodities such as gems and gold that can be easily moved to other jurisdictions, discreetly investing in and selling valuable assets such as real estate, gambling, counterfeiting, and using shell companies, which are inactive companies or corporations that essentially exist on paper only. Money can also be laundered through online auctions and sales, gambling websites, and virtual gaming sites, where ill-gotten money is often converted into gaming currency, then back into real, usable, and untraceable clean money. The newest frontier of money laundering involves cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin. While they're not totally anonymous, they are increasingly being used in blackmail schemes, the drug trade, and other criminal activities due to their relative anonymity compared with more conventional forms of currency. In other words, money laundering is the crime that makes other crimes possible. It can accelerate economic inequality, drain public funds, undermine democracy, and destabilize nations. And the banks are playing a key role. Laws that were meant to stop financial crimes have instead allowed it to flourish. So long as a bank files a notice they may be facilitating criminal activity, it all but immunizes itself and its executives from criminal prosecution. The suspicious activity alert, it's so hard to say, effectively gives them a free pass to keep moving the money and collecting the fees. The Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, or FinCEN, is the agency within the Treasury Department charged with combating money laundering, terrorist financing, and other financial crimes. It collects millions of these suspicious activity reports, also known as SARs. It makes them available to U.S. law enforcement agencies and other nations' financial intelligence operations. It even compiles a report called the Kleptocracy Weekly that summarizes the dealings of foreign leaders such as Russian President Vladimir Putin. What it does not do is force the banks to shut the money laundering down. The BuzzFeed News investigation shows that Standard Chartered moved money on behalf of Al Zaroni Exchange, a Dubai-based business that was later accused of laundering cash on behalf of the Taliban. During the years that Al Zaroni was a Standard Chartered customer, Taliban militias staged violent attacks that killed civilians and soldiers. And like we discussed last episode, HSBC's Hong Kong branch allowed WCM 777, a Ponzi scheme, to move more than $15 million, even as the business was being barred from operating in 3 states. Authorities say the scam stole at least $80 million from investors, mainly Latino and Asian immigrants, and the company's owner used the looted funds to buy 2 golf courses, a 7,000-square-foot mansion, a 39.8-carat diamond, and mining rights in Sierra Leone. Bank of America, Citibank, JP Morgan Chase, American Express, and others collectively processed millions of dollars in transactions for the family of Viktor Karpunov, the former mayor of Kazakhstan's most popular city, even after Interpol issued a red notice for his arrest. Karpunov, who also already fled to Switzerland and claims the allegations are politically motivated, was later convicted in absentia on charges that included bribe-taking and defrauding the city through the sale of public property. The bank mentioned in this story and said that they could not specifically comment on transactions due to bank secrecy laws. By law, banks must file the SARS reports when they spot transactions that bear the hallmarks of money laundering or other financial misconducts, such as large round number transactions or payment between companies with no discernible business relationship. We're specifically told to watch out for large offerings of cash. There are a ton of things that you have to look for, but SARS are not themselves evidence of a crime, but they are vital for law enforcement investigation. Information from millions of these documents feeds into a single database through which law enforcement officers can summon detailed financial information with a few keystrokes. The FinCEN files opens a rare window into the vast system of financial intelligence, unmatched in the world, but unknown to the public. These SARs themselves are so closely held that members of the public cannot obtain them through record requests or subpoenas, and banks are not allowed to even confirm their existence. Prior to this BuzzFeed reporting, very few SARs had actually been revealed. The FinCEN files encompasses more than 2,100. Deutsche Bank is also implicated in the BuzzFeed report. And my ears always perk up when I hear this name because, well, to be honest, they've been involved in a bunch of shady dealings. Deutsche Bank is Germany's biggest financial institution and one of the biggest lenders to Donald Trump. The FinCEN files investigation reveals that Deutsche managers, including top executives, had knowledge for years of serious failings that left the bank vulnerable to money launderers. Documents show 2 warnings sent to committees that included Paul Eichländer, Deutsche's chair, and one sent to the bank's supervisory board. Deutsche's problems were so striking, they prompted Bank of America to file a confidential alert known as a SAR to the U.S. government. So they did a cross-company SAR. And that's really unusual. A Bank of America employees had visited Deutsche's London office to discuss worries about Russian money laundering. They were stonewalled when a Deutsche manager interrupted their meeting and asked them to leave the building. Bank of America found the situation troubling enough that it raised the matter with Eichländer, according to the filing. And I'm sorry for mispronouncing the name. Another top Deutsche executive, Christian Sewing, ran the audit division with one of its teams gave the Moscow office a clean bill of health, despite evidence that it could not even produce a list of clients, let alone verify that they were who they said they were. Sewing is now Deutsche's CEO. In all, more than 100 internal alerts were raised on the companies at the heart of the Russian mirror trade scandal between 2012 and 2015. During these years, some of the world's worst criminals used the network to move dark money around the globe with the help of shell companies and corrupt financiers. Business owners like Meltzer, Julia, and Sullivan were left to pick up the pieces. The wide range of criminal activity linked to the mirror trades has never before been revealed. The issues have already been investigated and led to regulatory resolutions in which the bank's cooperation in remediation was publicly recognized, and that was according to a Deutsche Bank statement. But the saga of the mirror trades is not yet over for Deutsche. In its most recent annual report, get this is wild, Deutsche said that the Department of Justice continues to investigate and that the company had set aside money in case of future fines. So that's included in their budget for the upcoming years. That's crazy. According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes, global money laundering transactions account for roughly $800 billion to $2 trillion annually, or some 2% to 5% of the global GDP. So what tools does the government have to stop or prevent financial crimes like money laundering from happening? The government actually has lots of power to stop it. Under the USA Patriot Act, there's Section 311, Trading with the Enemy Act, OFAC, International Economics Powers Act, and so on and so on. The issue is the sheer volume of suspicious transactions. In the last year, about 2.7 million suspicious activity reports were filed, which is about 10,000 every day. Suspicious activity reports are notices that they're required to give the government. But the bar for what sets off a SARS is low, and there are just too many reports. So I guess there's a backlog because there's so much financial crime going on. I don't know. There's still so much more on this story that's developing as we're going along. I think this is going to really lead to an overhaul of the financial sector. And I'm just focusing on one aspect. Last episode, it was HSBC. This episode, it's Deutsche Bank. There are still so many other reports in the BuzzFeed file. So I may be covering these in further episodes as they become more apparent or as they become more important. So stick around and we'll get into that a little bit more. So I am going to take a quick commercial break. And when I come back, we're going to talk about something a little bit lighter, the top 10 fitness apps for 2020. So stick around.
Do you work in the world of marketing and advertising? Are you a media buyer or the owner of an agency? Have you been looking for a podcast to help stay on top of all the goings on of those worlds? The GSMC Marketing News Podcast is dedicated to keeping you up to date on all things concerning marketing and advertising. Get the latest marketing news, from what major businesses have planned for the coming year to the newest trends in advertising, from podcasts, digital and streaming, to the old standbys of radio, television, and billboards. The GSMC Marketing News Podcast has you covered, whether you're a marketing agent or a business trying to expand your brand.
Welcome back. The last segment was interesting, and I think this isn't the last we're going to hear about the money laundering scams. But, it's the end of the episode, so it's time for my top 10. And y'all, the pandemic has hit me hard. Just like that, I've gained some quarantine weight. So probably like many of you, I have to take my fitness a little bit more seriously. I'm not going to join a gym because I'm not quite ready to expose myself to the virus, and I don't have a Peloton or Echelon just yet. But I have the room, a smartphone, and the time. So I can take this time to get fit before the holidays happen and mess all of that up. So I'm going to give you my top 10 fitness apps. At number 10, I've got Rock My Run, available on Android and iOS for free. I have a great pair of running shoes, a neighborhood full of sidewalks, and the opportunity. So this app is pretty interesting. If running is your choice of workout, then Rock My Run can provide some welcome musical accompaniment for a run of any length. The app can adjust your music to sync with your steps or heart rate, and you can manually adjust the music so that it's matching your beats per minute. You'll find curated playlists in Rock My Run where songs are blended together to help you maximize your workout. Stations cover a wide array of genres from hip-hop and rap to pop, alternative, reggae, and more. Rock My Run also promises easy integration with other apps, including Apple Health, Strava, Nike Plus, Runkeeper, MapMyFitness, and Runtastic. While the focus is obviously on running, Rock My Run can come in handy even if you're exercising at home, giving you a steady beat while you work on your treadmill or elliptical. At number 9, I've got Strong Lifts 5x5, available on Android and iOS for free. Based on the strength training program of the same name, Strong Lifts 5x5 stands for 5 sets of 5 reps of 5 free weight exercises, and that's really hard to say. Squat, bench press, deadlift, overhead press, and barbell row, done in 3 45-minute workouts per week. We have some free weights in a corner somewhere. I think I can do this one. The app tells you which exercise to do in each workout, complete with video, tutorials, and how long to rest in between set. As you log your reps, Strong Lifts 5x5 graphs your progress in a weekly or monthly view. The Power Pack upgrade unlocks additional arm, ab, and calf exercises. The upgrade also syncs with Apple Health and Google Fit. At number 8, I've got Sworkit. It's available on iOS and Apple for free. iOS and Android for free. It's Stop Procrastinating and Sworkit, an abbreviation for Simply Work It. Rather than focus on set exercise routine, Sworkit has users create targeted workout routines so you can select what you want to do: build strength, yoga, practice cardio, stretch, Pilates, or build a custom routine, as well as a duration of your workout. And Sworkit builds a routine of randomized exercises that fit your exercise goals. Each workout is different, making sure you stay alert and are never bored. A premium version unlocks more features such as exercise variations, a workout history, and the ability to save custom workouts for a fully customizable experience. I love this because the worst thing is exercise boredom. At number 7, I've got Freeletics. Freeletics provides you with hundreds of workout routines covering a variety of muscle groups and fitness levels, all designed to use only your body weight as your exercise equipment. Audio and video guides provide step-by-step sequences for your workouts. Premium subscribers get access to further training plans, performance analysis, workout goals, and a 2x2 training mode that requires only a tiny amount of workout space. This app gives me a CrossFit feel and I like it. The instructors on the app are really cut, so it gives me some inspiration. At number 6, I've got Shock, Women's Fitness, available on the iOS for $9.99 a month. A one-size-fits-all approach doesn't cut it with workouts, and I'm definitely not your typical trainee. This is something that Shock Women's Fitness seems to understand. For starters, the app gears its workout regimen towards women, but the customized approach doesn't end there. You enter your fitness goals and your fitness level, with Shock creating a personalized training program to help you do everything from getting healthy to toning specific muscles. There's a lot to choose from in Shock, which boasts 550 plus workouts across 4 training levels. You can follow the workout programs at your local gym or indoors, ideal if you're socially distancing these days. We're particularly impressed by Shock's integration with the Apple Watch, where the app uses wrist taps, vibrations, and sounds alerts to let you know when it's time to switch your exercise. You can try out Shock for 7 days, but you'll need to subscribe to use the app beyond that. Monthly memberships start at $9.99 a month with quarterly and annual options available. At 5, I've got You Are Your Own Gym, available on Android and iOS for $4.99. You don't need an expensive gym membership or bulky exercise gear to stay fit and healthy. You Are Your Own Gym on Android, also known as Body Weight Training, Your Gym on iOS, teaches you to use your own body weight as your exercise device, with more than 200 different exercises and routines and exercise tutorials. Now, quite honestly, I may need to lose some of my Rona weight before I try this app, but there's nothing better for you than body weight exercises. At number 4, I've got Nike Training Club, available on Android and iOS for free. Nike Training Club takes the freemium approach, offering a vast workout library with exercises aimed at body parts or fitness objectives, with workouts stretching from 15 to 45 minutes. Guided workout collections let you focus on your fitness objectives, with workouts available for full or light equipment or body weight only courses. Personalized recommendations are based on your workout choices as recommended exercise spring out of your activity. So it listens to your body and what you're doing. A premium tier offers guided 4 to 6 week programs, nutrition and wellness guidance, and new workout formats for users looking for more ways to get fit. Sounds pretty good. At number 3, we've got 7, available on Android and iOS for free. From working at home to remote learning for your kids to all the other day-to-day demands on your schedule, no one has a lot of time on their hands these days. That makes 7 one of the best workout apps for squeezing a quick workout into your daily routine. All you need is 7 minutes a day for 7 months with a tracker screen to monitor your progress. Stick with the program and you can earn achievements that unlock new activities. You can turn to friends through the app for encouragement or a little friendly competition. If you're not sure about this whole business of working out, 7's 3D guides can help you get comfortable with each exercise. Looking for something more? The subscription-based 7 Club, $9.99 per month or $79.99 per year, delivers personalized workout plans to access to personalized workout plans. Y'all, this is high-intensity workout, and it looks killer. Could this be the one for me? At number 2, I've got Pair Personal Fitness Coach, available on the iOS and Android for free. The Pair Personal Fitness Coach app is one of the best. It's all about eyes-free, hands-free audio coaching, providing users with a rich array of guided workouts for a variety of fitness levels and intensities that adapt based on your performance. You can check out a wide array of workout packages and coaches, and the app plays well with a variety of fitness trackers and devices, allowing you to keep track of your performance and share metrics with other fitness apps. Pair has a free tier with a limited selection of workouts, but to really get the most out of your app, you'll want a premium subscription of $5.99 per month, which gives you unlimited access to the workout library and extra features. At number 1, I've got Yoga Studio, available on Android and iOS for $9.99 a month. Yoga is my workout of choice. It's not always a cardio workout, but it gets my mind centered and gives me a little relief for the day. Yoga Studio is the best of the best. Gaiam's Yoga Studio includes a library of more than 70 yoga and meditation classes that range from 10 minutes to 60 minutes. These classes address strength, flexibility, relaxation, balance, or a combination of all 4, and the app lets you filter based on duration, focus, and ability level. More advanced Yoga Studio users can create their own classes from the app's library of nearly 300 poses, as well as 20 pose blocks. Users can download videos and play them later without an internet connection, while class instructors can sync Yoga Studio to a television using Chromecast, Apple TV, or AirPlay. Yoga Studio switched to a subscription model, so you can try out the app for 7 days before committing to a subscription. A monthly pass costs $9.99, while you can get an annual pass for $69.99. So I think I've got a lot of options in my quest for better fitness, and I'll probably check out a couple of these and keep you all up to date with our progress here. So thank you so much for listening to the GSMC Financial News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I hope you learned a little something today and are able to take something with you. So until next time, be safe, wash your hands, and wear your mask. See ya.
You've been listening to the GSMC Financial News Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type GSMC into your favorite podcast app to find all of the shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, from business news to weird news. Please subscribe to the podcast and follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you've enjoyed today's podcast.